Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome back to Nerd News Today. We are continuing our look at Super7's New Japan Pro Wrestling action figures. These toys were so highly anticipated by me for so long. I am so excited to finally get these in my hands. And today we're looking at who I think is probably my favorite actually in the modern New Japan era, and that's Hiroshi Tanahashi. The ace of New Japan, he really was with the company in a time when they were struggling, and he helped really get them up to the higher echelon again, and essentially also paved the way for Okada to become the face of the company. I've always loved Tanahashi, I love his personality, I love how he wrestles, and I think he's the guy that got me back into New Japan more than any other wrestler at the time. So I am very excited to have a figure of him, one that is theoretically in scale with my Mattel guys as well, because I want to get him facing off with John Cena as soon as I can. But first things first, before we take him out of the box, let's talk about this packaging. And on that matter, we talked way in depth about my entire thoughts of this line. I actually filmed a video after I did all these Lucy's here, where I discussed my thoughts on the entire line, the price point, articulation, more comparisons to WWE figures. So if you guys want to see that, here's a link to a look at all 4 figures together. But again, this is going to concentrate today only on Tanahashi, and the box is what we've seen previously as well. So every New Japan Pro Wrestling figure, and basically every Super 7 figure ever, comes first in a brown mailer box. That's to keep it protected while it's in the mail. Make sure it comes to your house as mint as possible. Once you take it out of the brown mailer box, you get then the figure that you're seeing here, except it's covered in an additional lid. And that lid has a sort of metallic New Japan logo on the front of it too. And you're going to hear this exact phrasing in the next video for Will Ospreay's figures too, because I'm not recording this again. But once you do slide the lid off of him, you'll see here we get a great window into what this toy comes with. And there is a lot that it comes with here. It's got a lot of great accessories. And we also get a great look at that IWGP Intercontinental Championship belt. He is the only figure this wave to come with that belt. So that should also help you get an idea of what time period this toy is based on. I really like how the front of the box has this ring on it too. You can see the ropes, you can see the turnbuckles. It's got the blue corner, the red corner, which is the thing that they do in New Japan. Makes it feel a lot more like an actual fight. It's pretty nice packaging, although it is a little short, a little squat, kind of bulky. Nothing to really talk about on the sides either. Just see that the ropes continue around the back. And speaking of, on the back, we've got the Super 7 logo. We again have the New Japan logo. We've got Tanahashi's name in Japanese, and then an English bio and some of his statistics along with his Twitter handle. So I think these boxes are pretty nice. There's a lot of information here, a lot of good information presented in a very efficient kind of way and a very nicely designed kind of way. But we're not here to take a look at these boxes all day, so let's go ahead and get Tanahashi out of the box and into the ring. Real quick before I completely take Tanahashi out of the box, I just wanted to show you guys the way the figures are packaged, and these are kind of awkward at times. This one in particular, I don't know what's going on or who put this in, but Tanahashi's doing a pee-pee dance right here, man. He's got his legs crossed. Look at his hands. Like, this is kind of silly. I kind of like it. It's also very stupid. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Yeah. So if you're able to, before you buy it, go ahead and slide that lid off the top and make sure that your New Japan figures aren't also doing the pee-pee dance. The more you know. All right, and here is our Tanahashi out of the packaging. And man, he looks really good. I mean, now that he's no longer doing the pee-pee dance especially, he looks really good. This is a figure I've been waiting for so long to incorporate into my figure photography, and I'm really hoping it's just as good as we continue to look at him. But first things first, let's talk about the entrance gear. So this figure represents his look at New Japan Cup 2018. It's a really cool look. I really like this entrance gear a lot. And it's kind of like this almost pleathery kind of feel to it. I mean, it's definitely not real leather, but there's a real pleather kind of feel to it. There's also some like kind of velvety bit on the top shoulder there. But it feels really high quality. This feels really nice. I know that Mattel did something with Io Shirai, I believe. Like, they've done some leather jacket types things, but it was not the same kind of material. This just feels real, and that's what I like about it. And I think the paint job as well on this is really gorgeous. Like, this is some high-end looking stuff here, folks. I don't think my words really do it justice. You got to really see it in person. Take my word for it, though. Texturally, painting-wise, everything about it looks very, very excellent. And you guys can see also, as we've got this jacket open now, you can see we've got the IWGP Intercontinental Championship belt around his waist. There is a green gem on that, so I'm going to try not to move him too much because I'm going to have to green screen that out. But again, as I've talked about, just for comparison, here is the WWE Ultimate Edition big round belt, and here is the AEW World Championship belt. So, you know, again, I really want my belts to be shiny. I want them to have this really great metallic look to them. These two belts do that. The IWGP belt does not have that. And it's going to always bother me that it doesn't have that. I mean, the strap is great too. I wanted to actually, let's see if I can move in without ruining the green too much here. Let's get this jacket off. So I guess as we do this, I want to talk more about the belt, but I also want to mention that this head here, from what I believe, is meant to really just be for his entrance gear, because his hair, you can kind of see it's a little bit higher than on the other head. Yeah, you can kind of see the hair is kind of further down here. So this one's really meant to be specifically for that entrance jacket. Now that it's off, yeah, I'll put that over in the corner. You can see it's like stiff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, again, good detail on this. I mean, I like that the globes are really nice looking on it too. It's got excellent detail. It's got nice paint application, but it's definitely missing like more intricate detail that I would want with these belts in particular, because these belts are so iconic. The only other time we've really had belts like this have been Kara Pro belts, and those are for smaller figures. They don't look good on these toys. They had good sculpting detail, but they're undersized, and they tend to kind of get the green disease. These belts here would have really benefited from just a little bit more time on them to get that detail in there, and I want some brighter color on them. So, you know, that's just my thing here. I really want to know why they chose to do this too, and why they didn't go for the vac metallized look, but you know, that's my preference. Let's go ahead now and show you how the enclosure system works here too. Okay, I will say this is not a white rubber material. This has been painted white, and I don't like that. It looks very thick and goopy, and yeah, I don't like this. And it feels like it's extra hard to pull the belt off now because of that too. There we go. Yeah, I do not like this enclosure system the more I play with these belts now. I mean, the back of it, you can see it's basically your generic belt, but yeah, I'm not digging those enclosures. That part, not a fan of. So let's go ahead and swap a head out now, because I don't think I did it with the Okada video, but you can see here, two different heads, two different expressions, which I also appreciate, much more so than what they did with Okada's heads. So let's pop this plain one out. His hair is kind of sharp. Came out easy. And let's go ahead, put that one on him here. Looks good. Yeah, okay. I like both heads, actually. I think I prefer the non-smiling head more, though. I think the teeth just don't quite really work for me, and the eyes look a little bit too big as well. Like, the expression's not quite there. This one is really good from the front, though. And from the side, too, it's pretty good. So, overall, good head sculpts. Not my favorites of the bunch. I mean, this is definitely stronger, I think, than Okada's head. But I think the other figures have slightly better head sculpts, in my opinion. But it still reads as Tanahashi. That part works for me. Let's talk a little bit more about this outfit as well here. So you guys can see he's got that arm sleeve. Really great painting detail on that. His pants are also very nice. Good paint job, good detail work on all of them. Same with the knee pads. I love how everybody has like their unique knee pads in New Japan. So these look really great across the board here. And I want to talk to you again about the crotch part. So if you guys noticed last time, it has kind of like a rubberized, you can see it there, especially a kind of rubber material on it. So you get more of a flex, kind of more realistic in some ways, and I appreciate that choice. I like that they went that route with these. The boots look really good too. They're white, so you know that's always going to be a problem sometimes. And in this case it is. There is some kind of schmutz on his boot there. That's kind of been like the worst I've seen with these figures in terms of that. So basically Super 7 and white paint just don't get along very well. And yeah, as I said, I'm looking now at his wrist, you can see there's like a big old glob of white paint right there, which was obviously from that wrist tape. Yikes. So that's probably easy to scrape off though. We'll come back and deal with that later on. Body-wise, it's a good-looking body. This one doesn't really have as much shading as Okada did. And kind of like this better, actually. I mean, I like the choice they made to do with that shading. This one's a little bit more of a solid color. I don't know if it's a mistake, to be honest, but it looks more solid to me. I actually like the way that looks, too, so I can kind of take it or leave it either or. In terms of accessories, we already saw the spearhead, we saw the belt, we saw the entrance gear, but he also comes with this guitar for some reason. I don't really actually know why, because he normally plays air guitar, so I don't know why they gave him that guitar. But it's cool that he has it, at least. I wouldn't really recommend it as a hardcore weapon in a match, because he'll probably kill somebody with it, but it's a nice looking guitar. At least, you know, I'll say that. It's going to be good for another rock and roll figure, maybe, but yeah, let's put that in the corner. We'll leave that for Elias to come steal later on. Now let's spend some time talking about articulation here. So we've got a bullet jointed head, just like the other figures have, bullet jointed shoulders, which are nice, and actually not as stiff, not that stiff. That's good, they're moving pretty well. Bicep can twist. We've got a single jointed elbow and wrist that can bend and flex. Torso bends front and back. The waist moves. We've got bullet jointed legs as well for good range of motion. Single jointed knees, looks like, yep, single jointed knee. And the ankle can flex and move around like that too. So what we're missing, of course, as we mentioned before, is that there is no thigh articulation and there's no boot articulation, which are kind of, I think, more important than we realize when it comes to wrestling figures. So to help show off my points about the articulation, here is Ultimate Edition John Cena, and here is a normal Elite version of Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, which is one of my favorite versions of Razor Ramon, actually. So yeah, you guys can see here, this cut right there, that's missing on him. And we also are missing the fact that the boots can twist and turn. So that part is gone from him. And of course, Ultimate Editions have a different style of buck. They have double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and the flexing toes. Now, I don't necessarily need to have the New Japan figures have every single point of articulation that the Ultimate Editions have, but I wouldn't mind if they at least had the double jointed knees and elbows. Now, granted, that's now becoming a more common thing with figures. That's planned for more Elite figures, in fact, in 2021, to have that style of double jointed everything. And this New Japan figure was done before that was actually a thing, before that was even known that, you know, we had AEW figures, before we had boss fight figures coming out. So it's understandable, because again, this is like their proprietary body. This is how they've been doing it for years. But if you're gonna go into the pro wrestling business, I think you gotta keep up to speed with other companies, and I think that's what's missing, and that also would kind of help these toys out a little bit. And by the way, just also for reference, here is a Chris Jericho. This is a little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho, in fact, from Jazzwares, from their AEW line. And we've also got Storm Collectibles, Jushin Thunder Liger figure, just so you can see how they all look side by side. Scale-wise, all looking pretty good as well. You can see what I mean about the double-jointed elbows here. Liger has that too. Liger has a lot of articulation as well. Liger does look a lot bulkier than maybe he should be. I mean, his arms are enormous too, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, that's how everybody kind of looks side by side here in this case. And of course, I also have to mention that Tanahashi comes with 12 hands, which is equal to 6 sets of hands. Those hands are identical for every single wrestling figure that comes in this line. And I'm going to show you some photos of them in action here with these in-ring photos now. So overall, Tanahashi, you know, again, I said before, he's like one of my favorite guys of all time in New Japan. He's who really kind of got me more interested in New Japan again. Kind of up there with Nakamura, in fact, to be honest, because those were kind of the two guys that had me very curious about it. And it's taken me so many years to actually get an articulated figure that can work with my guys and take some photos like you're seeing right now. So I'm very happy to have that. Do I wish he had more articulation? Yes. Do I wish the belt was shinier? Yes. But even then, I'm still pretty content with what I've got here. I'm definitely satisfied. Definitely some things I'd love to have improved upon in the next go-around or whenever they're going to get around to it. But really, you're getting a belt, you're getting 2 head sculpts, you're getting entrance gear, you're getting a dozen hands, which is crazy to me. Like, not even the Ultimate Editions give you that many hands. So for that $45 price point, I think it is worth it. I think these are good toys. If you're a New Japan fan, definitely worth getting. I think all the naysayers were a little quick to jump on that bandwagon, and that's all because of just one very bad photographer who I hope had a very strict talking down to about those photos. But I think that, again, this is another really good, solid entry in Super 7's New Japan series. Looks good to me. I'm happy with it. I'd love to have them do another one later on, maybe with a more improved head sculpt, perhaps. But that's kind of how Super 7 sculpts, you know, I'll take what I can get. It's good enough for me. Not a perfect 10, but they're not doing real scan stuff either. They're actually hand sculpting these, I believe. So I'll give them that too. At the end of the day, it's Tanahashi. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy with what they've got. It's not perfect, but it's still really damn good, and that's the truth. So that's our look at Hiroshi Tanahashi from Wave 1 of Super 7's New Japan Pro Wrestling action figures. If you want to buy one for yourself, haha, good luck. Yeah, no, at this point, they were basically pre-order only, but you could probably find a few more on Ringside Collectibles. I think Big Bad Toy Store might also have some there. So get them while you can, because they're not going to last, and once they're gone, they are gone. So I'm Matthew. Thanks for watching Nerd News today, and stick around because we got 2 more figures from New Japan to talk about. And also, make sure you watch my review of all 4 figures together, as well as just an overview of the entire line and what I think about the series. I talk a lot more about the price point, and some of the things I didn't really talk about as much in this video. So if you want to see me just talk about the entire figures as a whole, go ahead and check out that link. You'll find that in the description below, and hopefully right above if I remember to put it in. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and keep that fighting spirit burning.